Hi, I'm Gareth Green, and in this video we're going to have a little think about how Alberti bass might be useful to you. If you're a composer thinking about, well, I've got some chords down, maybe in the accompaniment to a piece of music I'm writing, but it's just kind of going chord, chord, chord. What can I do with these chords to make them sound a bit more exciting? Well, Alberti bass is one of the techniques you might consider. If you're a performer and you're not interested in composing music at all, it's still worth knowing about because it's a musical device that often gets used, particularly in the classical period, but it lives on into the Romantic period, and there's still plenty of music written in the 20th and 21st centuries that still uses the Alberti bass technique, and it's used in other genres as well. So you may have come across it, you may not have done, doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you in a very practical way in this video how to take a piece of music that's got a melody in the right hand and it's just got chords in the left hand. The melody could be in the left hand with the chords in the right hand, doesn't matter. But how to use Alberti bass to kind of liven things up a bit, create a bit of movement, bring your accompanying chords to life. So why is this thing called Alberti bass? That's the first thing we might mop up. Well, it's named after a composer called Domenico Alberti. And sadly, this is the thing that he's most famous for, is his bass. So Domenico Alberti, well, when was he around? Well, we know he was born in 1710, and we know he died somewhere between 1740 and 1746. We're not entirely sure about where life ended for him, but it gives you a kind of context. He wasn't actually the first person to use this little formula, but he became associated with it, and so it was named after him, the Alberti bass. So what do we do when we use an Alberti bass? Well, we basically do this. We take a chord. So here's a chord. It's the first chord that I've got handy in this piece of music here, D, F sharp, A. And we basically do this to it. We go bottom, top, middle, top. Okay, so it's a little figuration. You take the chord, but instead of just putting it down as what we call a block chord, you break up the chord. Well, there are lots of ways you can break up a chord. You could just go up the 3 notes, go down the 3 notes, start in the middle, go up, then down, start in the middle, go down, then up. I mean, you could do all these things. But in the Alberti bass formula, you start with the bottom note, you go to the top note, you go to the middle note, and back to the top note. So it's a sound you've probably heard a lot. And if you play sonatas by Mozart and people like that, you'll have played this stuff over and over again, probably without even realizing it, maybe. So it's useful to know that's what's going on. And it helps you when you're playing to see what the actual chord is, because you can put all the notes of the Alberti bass together and say, oh, it's spelling out this chord. So useful device for composers, useful thing to know about. Now, what I've done here is I've just kind of written 4 bars, a little bit in the style of the classical period, but that doesn't matter. And first of all, I'm just doing the left-hand accompaniment as block chords. And it sounds like this. Well, hopefully you'll agree with me that that doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound particularly interesting, does it? It's going to go chord, chord, chord. Not very exciting, is it? So if the melody doesn't want to be too energetic, because we could liven this up, couldn't we, by getting the melody going. But we might not want that kind of mood. We might not want an over-spirited melody. We might quite like this melody that's kind of a bit more flowing, a bit more relaxed. But maybe it's something we can do in the accompaniment to kind of make things work a bit better. So what I'm going to do now is apply this Alberti bass technique to the chords that we've got written. So all these chords up here, we're going to kind of do a little bit of Alberti bass with. Okay, so let's see how we go about it. If we take the first chord, well, we can do this. We go bottom, top, middle, top. Okay, so I've assigned a quaver, an eighth note to each one of those. And you see how this that I've just written here fills up the 2 beats of that chord. So obviously it's got to make sense rhythmically, isn't it? But if you've got 2 beats and you can go bottom, top, middle, top, then that works very nicely in this rhythm. And what I'm going to do now is to kind of carry on. Well, we'll now move on to a different chord. So let's take the bottom note, the E, then go to the top note, the A, back to the middle, back to the top, and then we've got the next bit of Alberti sorted, and then we need a bar line. So you can see I'm just writing the left hand here. When I come to the next chord, well, it's the same as the first chord, isn't it? But this time it's taking up 4 beats. So how are we going to deal with this? Well, it's fairly straightforward. We do it once, and then we do it again. So that takes care of that little bit of Alberti. Let's have a new bar line. And then onto a new chord. So we're down here on G, we're coming out to E, then we're going to the middle note B, then we're going back to E again. So that gives us the next little burst there, doesn't it? And then we're on to the next chord. So we've got A, up to the top note G, back to the middle, back to the top. So you can see how the intervals vary depending on what's in the chord. And then again, in the last bar, the last measure, we've got this chord. Well, we might decide to do it twice as we did before, or we might think, well, if this is the end of something, that we might just stop on this bottom note to finish, for example. And then that would give us the end of this little bit of Alberti bass. So you can see what I've done. I've taken the left-hand chords. And I've broken them up. Okay, what's the effect of that? Well, it goes like this. Sorry, I messed up the end there. Let me try the last 2 bars again. Okay, you see what impact it has? Instead of the left hand just going clonk, clonk, clonk on these chords, we've now got this flowing rhythm in the left hand that supports the right hand melody, but just gives us a bit of movement. And it's so much more interesting, isn't it? Now, you might be wanting to write a piece of music in a classical style. You might be wanting to write a piece of music for a rock band. It doesn't matter. You can still use this Alberti bass technique if it's something that appeals to you. So there it is, Alberti bass. Who was Alberti? When did he live? Where does this come from? How does it work? How do you turn basic chords into a little figuration using the Alberti bass? So it's something you might recognize in music that you're playing and just be aware of it. And then you can kind of think of the Alberti bass and think, well, how does that convert into this chord, or this convert into this chord? That helps you to see what the chords are. Or it may be something, if you're writing, that's going to help you to just embellish your accompaniment writing. So I hope that's been a helpful video. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to know more about Music Matters or about music in general, may I suggest that you visit our website, www.mmcourses.co.uk. Now, if you go onto the website, on the home page, you can click on courses and you'll immediately find access to lots of courses on harmony, theory, oral training, sight reading, analysis, history of music, orchestration, you name it. We've got loads of stuff there available at lots of different levels that would empower composers and would empower people wanting to learn more about music. We're really trying to encourage the development of the all-round musician. So it applies to anybody at any level, and it's about those musical skills that will empower you as a performer, as a composer, or someone who just wants to appreciate music more deeply. So have a look at what's there and what might suit you. While you're on that access to the home page, click on Maestros. That will tell you about our international musical community, which is a very exciting group of people. And there are 3 levels, nothing to do with ability, it's all to do with access. So level 1 means that you're supporting the work that we're doing, which is absolutely wonderful of you. And it comes with various perks, helps us to keep going as well. Level 2 gives you the level 1 benefits, but in addition, you get many more perks, including access to a monthly live stream where I can deliver an hour of solid teaching. You can participate by requesting the topics that we do, by taking part in the live chat that runs through that. Ask your questions if you want to. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. Or you can come on at level 3, where you have all the benefits of level 3, level 2 and level 1, but an additional live stream comes your way every month, and this is your opportunity to submit your own work. If you want to, you can be a passive observer, that's fine, or you can be fully engaged in that by submitting your own compositions or your own recorded performance, and I'll give you one-to-one feedback on that. We share it with the group so we can all learn from each other. Again, there's a live chat running through that as well. And it's amazing how people have formed new friendships, how people have often told me that they were previously on this kind of lonely journey and suddenly they feel connected with other people who are having the same successes and the same struggles, and that's really been a source of great encouragement to them, and how they've learned so much through being a member of Music Matters Maestros. So it's all there, courses, maestros, lots of other things besides. www.mmcourses.co.uk.